Hello, this is your virtual life coach, Michael Lewis. So, I used to take piano lessons when I was younger, 8 years old. Uh, Took piano lessons with my older sister from this woman, older woman named Mrs. White. She was in her 90s. She was crotchety. She was fussy. It was not fun, but it was a lot less fun while I was waiting for my sister to do her lesson because during that time I would be sitting on the sofa next to this other person. Who was this other person? This other person was Mrs. White's mother. So you do the math. Mrs. White was 96 years old. How old was her mother? Who knows? All I know is this woman was not, I mean, to my 8-year-old eyes, she was not human. She looked like some kind of creature. And she was terrifying. And she had this great big long wooden thingy that wasn't a cane. It was more like scissors for clutching things, and it had claws at the end. And she would do this terrifying thing to me. She'd turn around, she'd look at me, and she'd say, "I'm going to get your nose." And it just scared me to death. And it's probably why I'm not so good as a piano player these days. Anyway, everyone has a story with their body. Everyone has exceptions, things that work for others that don't work for them, or things that work for them that don't work for others. There's aches, there's pains, there's limitations. I get it. People care about illness, disease, chronic body conditions. People care about longevity and quality of life. Some people don't, but you do because, well, that's why we're here. So there are 4 things to be concerned about and that you need to know as far as health and longevity go. And these are pretty major factors. And there's one final big factor that we'll get into at the end. So 4 things, 3 of them very major. The 4th one is huge and all-encompassing. So here they are. Number 1, cell versus cell. What does this mean? Well, there are certain microorganisms that are set up by nature to gobble up other microorganisms. That's just the way it is. And some of these microorganisms that are being gobbled up by the first microorganisms fulfill maybe vital functions in the body. So you get sick. So it's nothing personal. It's just what they do to survive. You see this in nature. You got antelopes and you got cheetahs. And, you know, the cheetahs hunt down the antelopes. Again, it's nothing personal. The antelopes know about this. The cheetahs know about this. It's like part of their job as cheetahs and antelopes. It's the circle of life. You and I, we are always eating. What are we eating? Well, hopefully we're eating living cells, whether, you know, whatever diet we're on, even if we're vegan, you know, like me. So circle of life, some bacteria gobble up other bacteria. If you've ever taken a probiotic supplement, what that does is that gives you literally supporting life in favor of life, pro-bios in favor of life. So you take these probiotic supplements and they put stuff in there in your gut and whatever, that's good for you. Then there's antibiotics against life. Now, they're not against your life, but they're against the life of, you know, your little microscopic bad things down there, and they kill them, and, you know, hopefully you get better from whatever you were suffering, you know, these disease germs and all that sort of thing. So this first factor is just simply the way life is set up on this planet. Maybe different on other planets, but that's the way it is right here. Don't blame me. I didn't set it up. I may be old, but I'm not that old. Okay, then we have second factor, very simple, which is accidents. Have you ever been involved in an accident that was not completely not your fault? Well, there it is. And, you know, maybe you're standing in the wrong place at the wrong time and the piano falls on your head. Possibly you asked for it by standing there to begin with. I don't know. But there are accidents. And again, that's part of life. The third factor is the body itself. Your body may be booby-trapped, and in any case, you need to take care of it. Now, here's a fun fact that applies to all of us as mammals. most mammals live 6 times longer than the time it takes them to achieve full growth. We stop growing at about ages 20 to 25 or so. The bones stop growing. They've achieved full growth. So as members of the Mammal Club, we should routinely live like 120 to 150 years. Each and every one of us should just be routine. So possibly there's something that all the other mammals are doing that we aren't, or maybe there's something they're not doing that we are doing that we shouldn't, like desk jobs or politics. Just a suggestion. Now, my brother-in-law is a beloved, world-famous doctor who's cured several strains of hepatitis and has saved tens, if not hundreds of thousands of people. And he and I were talking about genetic research some years ago when it was still relatively new, and how one person's body blueprint may make that person prone to certain illnesses or malfunctions, whereas someone else's body blueprint may not be. So I said, so it's like they're kind of they're predisposed to get ill in those places. And he said, yes, exactly. But they may never get sick there at all. They just need something to trigger it. And I said, oh, they need something to trigger it, like stress? And he said, yeah, like stress. Okay, so cut down on stress. Most of all, cut down on people that you hang out with who bring you stress. And you know who they are. Just kind of keep them at arm's length if you can, So let's go over some other points concerning the body. Exercise, absolutely. We all are in favor of that. Yes, you should do that, probably more from the look of you. Whatever's right for you, but definitely do something. Don't overdo it. You know what you're capable of and what you're not. Other thing is food. Food's very important. Suppose you forgot to eat breakfast, lunch, or dinner for a few days, or you forgot to sleep and you get sick as a result, or you're so out of it from not eating or sleeping that you do something really dumb because your judgment isn't really there. So like you go east on a two-way street going north or south, north and south, or you say yes to your brother-in-law's great business opportunity when you should have said, are you kidding me? So we are getting better at nutrition as the years go on. People are way more aware of nutrition and its importance than they were in the 50s. Back in the 50s, as a little kid, I remember health food stores were like practically unknown, and they were like really weird. The people who ran them wore sandals and kind of looked like turnips and so on. And there was this one little tiny hole in the wall health food store. It was called the Good Diet Shop. And my dad would go in there once every 2 months and he would buy a jar of honeycombs, actual honeycombs for his hay fever. And, but now, they're everywhere, which is great. Okay. So now here's an important point: energy and exhaustion. Did you know that mental work, like thinking, working at a desk job, counseling someone, consulting someone, even having a deep, meaningful conversation with someone where you're trying to coax them into changing their mind, or you're arguing with them, any kind of this mental type of exertion, any of those things can be really exhausting. It's like more exhausting, in fact, than going out and mowing the lawn or moving furniture around. I mean, it's taxing and exhausting. There's a popular expression that sprang up a few years ago, spoons. How many spoons do you have? Like how much energy you've got for the day. Supposedly, you start the day with a certain number of spoons, and you use up your spoons, and if you use up all your spoons, you don't have energy anymore. So, but here's the thing, is there's energy and there's energy. The energy we like, the spoon kind, is stamina. Get up and go, oomph, all that sort of thing. Yes, that's good. But there's another kind of energy, which is the kind that weighs you down. And you know what this is. You get some really bad news, or you're just mentally exhausted. There's a heaviness. you feel an actual heaviness. You can feel this heaviness. It's not your imagination. That stuff has weight. You can actually measure it. It's got mass to it. And if you've ever gotten some really good news, like unexpected money in the mail, or your significant other unexpectedly says, sure, yeah, let's do it. There's a lightness you feel. There's a spring to your step. And that is absence of mass. And it's mental mass. And you really feel light. If you've been following me on this channel, you hear my mantra at the end, take your vitamins, take your vitamins. I don't pretend to be an expert on this stuff, but really, take your vitamins and your minerals, really. Among other things, there are a couple of vitamins that keep that mass, that bad energy, off of you at a distance by oxygenating the body, giving your body more oxygen. You know, there's likely less oxygen in the atmosphere these days than there was 10 zillion years ago when we first appeared on this planet. So with some vitamin and mineral supplementation, you might very well be able to withstand mental stress and exhaustion. Check with your nutritional professional. Don't listen to me. Well, listen to me, but, check with your nutritional professional. Okay, then there's the dirty little secret that nobody ever talks about. Gravity. Talk about something that really pulls you down. You could stand up right now while we're talking. You stand up right now and you can walk around and you can feel the gravity. Now imagine being on some heavy gravity planet like Jupiter, let's say, where you weigh like 100 times more than you do now. Ugh. Now keep walking around and imagine it's all gone, like you're on the moon, where you weigh like 1/10/20th of what you weigh now or something. This is the effort that you are forced to put out, that you're forced to expend every second of every day of your life, until it's such an everyday thing. Battling against gravity becomes such an everyday thing that it's just life. But it's not life. You are life. Yes, you, right there. You, I see you. You are life. And speaking of you, this is the fourth factor, and it's the most important one of all, the star of the show. You. You are the biggest influencer of your life and your health. Yes, you are. Whether you're a 99-year-old Holocaust survivor who knows that being alive is a golden opportunity and that each second of every day is another moment of joy to be treasured, or whether you're a 23-year-old Google developer who's just gotten laid off, feels useless, and wants to flush himself down the toilet. Sure, there's attitude. Sure, there's glass half empty, glass half full. Sure, there's wake up and smell the flowers. And all those cliches have a right to be true, but there are some very specific factors at play here as well. And, one of them is being loved and needed, and yourself loving, and above all, and here it is, giving life. If you want to get a bit more life, give some life. How do you give life? You can grow something. You can tend a garden. That feels good, especially if the stuff grows. Help a neighbor. Help anyone. Give a lot of love. Make yourself needed and vital. And you'll stick around. You'll stick around for a good long time. Be responsible for making new life, whether it's a flower or a bush or a baby or giving someone else a reason to live another day who's given up. And so will you. Sit around and listen to your arteries harden, and you won't have to sit around very long. Spend an hour each day loving something in particular, or someone special, or everything in general. Everything. Up, down, inside out, backwards, forwards, or sideways. And as an added bonus, while you're at it, help something or someone actually grow. It could be a child, it could be a plant, it could be a pet. If you keep that in as a habit, you'll find yourself just living a marvelous marvel of a life, whether you live to be 60 or 160. And that's all I have to say. So until next time, love each other, take your vitamins, observe posted speed limits, play nice, and never lose sight of who you are. Never, never, never lose sight of who you are. So long for now.